So Destiny, just around the corner, launches worldwide on Tuesday, September the 9th, with excitement maximised by the recent live-action trailer, or bombast and swoosh, and well, everything's made better with Zeppelin. I'm CJ, this is Paddy.
Hello.
We're here to chat with you and each other about the game, how far we've come with it, but especially these last few months of hype, betas, and excitement leading up to Tuesday. Destiny announced a good few years ago now, by speculation, name, concept art. Then E3 2012 gave us a first little gawp, and thereafter, kind of hype disappeared a bit, didn't it?
It vanished. It really, really vanished. Like, it's like, oh, cool, Destiny's a thing. Oh, wait, well, who? And then, when we did, like, for example, we did a Game of the Year show a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
We forgot about it, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, I am a huge Halo fan, and when Destiny was first announced, I was absolutely bouncing up and down about it because it looked like you got the mechanics of Halo and the confidence of making a great first person shooter. I mean, we didn't really know that much more about it other than the fact that it was going to be on PlayStation for the first time, as well as Microsoft consoles.
And it was a game about men shooting people in space. And I've got to admit, I was kind of initially quite dismissive because that's just what I'm like.
Yeah, but near that first announcement, I remember there was some incredible concept art which showed. No, it wasn't just sort of shooting men in space. There was kind of a look of knights about it, and a sort of adventure. And whilst it might be set in space, and there might have been various planets and aliens involved, there was something that spoke to the person in me that loved Dark Souls as well, because there were capes, there was armor, there was a real sense of adventure in the concept art, which
I got a Star Wars vibe off it.
yeah, I can see that, absolutely.
Fantasy, sci-fi, and that, yeah, give me that. I like Star Wars. I like that. Give me some of that.
Yeah, so there was. I'm a big Star Wars fan as well, but then kind of, I know we were having a conversation. Even in the aftermath of E3 this year, where I was wondering how well the game was going to do, and you were saying that you were really looking forward to it. And you played the alpha at that point, and Joshua Garrity, who guested on our the Humanities E3 show, was saying that he thought it was going to do really well, but I don't know. It just dropped completely off my radar at that point. And then I saw the two trailers that were shown at E3. I saw afterwards, and that was there was the one that was on the PlayStation show, which I only saw briefly during the stream because my stream was acting up all over the place.
It was.
And then there was a version of that which was shown afterwards with Bungie's Jason Jones that was sort of narrating what they'd hoped to achieve and what they were bringing to it. And he was really, really passionate about the game, but there was that line of the no pressure, and I was like, and after that, my heart was just now I just got this sort of crackle of excitement about it, and I love Martin McDonald's music anyway, from especially from ODST and Reach, and there was something about the score on that which just spoke of huge adventure. There was an iconic level to the music of the likes of a Star Wars, of the likes of a Superman. There was that dun 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 dun, and I was like, oh, and it just filled my heart, and I got a little bit excited at that point.
Was this the E3 demo where they played a bit and the guy died right at the end near the boss? Was that the year before?
I don't remember.
There was one they played. It was a two-player bit. They were sort of bollocking around together for a bit, and he just died. The boss came down like, right, let's do it, and then immediately died.
But didn't,
which was nice. It was fun. A good wrinkle to the show, and it made it like, oh, anything can happen. Great.
Didn't they announce immediately after the PlayStation 1 that the alpha was going to be available almost?
Oh, that video was the year before then, definitely. No, this year the alpha, like, oh, by the way, alpha out, like, now.
So how soon did you jump into that? Because
Christ,
I didn't have a PS4 at that point, so
I know I had played quite a bit of it before we did our E3 show, so it must have been like literally the day after. I think they announced it, went live. I literally jumped onto the website, just hammered in. Yep. Here's my PSN. Take it, please. Give me the game. And I think like quite a lot of people got accepted quite quickly. Downloaded straight in.
But you're not a first-person shooter guy.
God, no.
Never really have been. So,
and I'm especially not a Halo guy.
So, obviously that's wrong, and we can only apologise to the listenership.
I just don't get it. I'm sorry.
Patrick,
I played it. I understand that people like it, but it's not for me.
Smack. So when you downloaded the alpha, did you have any? I don't know. Preconceived ideas going in, or while it was downloading, what were your thoughts, I guess?
Well, I knew that the game had speeder bikes, and that was basically the prime thought.
That's all it took.
I wanted to play on a speeder bike. Just that's all I really wanted for the first. I thought, right, speeder bikes. Okay, we're gonna play. I'm gonna get on a speeder bike. I'm gonna ride around for a bit. It's gonna be pretty great. By the way, can I just say I'm enjoying this because all of this got cut off on our E3 show because my audio recorder went dead. Yeah, so I'm enjoying getting to vent this again because you people get to hear it now.
So even if kind of the game wasn't going to be your cup of tea, you just thought, well, I'll have a bollock about this and I'll
exactly. The worst it could be was an hour of fun for free. Like I just looking at the videos, thought, well, it looks just running around looks kind of fun, and the world looks interesting, and I want to go explore. I like exploring.
So what were you thinking about when you chose a class, and what did you think to the? Was there a decent character creator?
Character creator is really good.
Was it on the alpha, or did you have presets?
Yeah, it was in. The character maker was in and there. I don't know if it's going to be expanded more, but it felt like there was enough options. There are 10 different hairstyles, a bunch of different skin colours, different face styles, that sort of thing. There was enough there to make your own kind of dude. And of course I went for the robot. Because robots are cool. And they've got big goofy robot faces. And I thought, well, I'm going to pick it. I picked the kind of. I was sitting there with my other half, Laura. We were watching, and she was trying to guide me what she thought looked cool. And between us, we kind of made an orange robot man, because of course it was going to be orange. Because for those of you listening for the first time, I am the ginger one, and every character creator I play with, I make an orange thing, because it means I can relate to the plight of the orange man on my screen. So I made a bright orange robot, some red paint, I think some green paint all over it, and some adorable kind of radar dish ears.
So what class did you go for?
Oh yeah, of course, because there's classes, aren't there? Forgotten all about that. I decided to go for Hunter, and I'll tell you for why I went for Hunter. Because basically, in every piece of media that I've ever encountered, I've always enjoyed the idea of a space cowboy. Be that within the Jamiroquai song "Return of the Space Cowboy," or the Steve Miller Band song.
It's all coming out in the wash.
Or, for example, the end of Cowboy Bebop, where it says, "See you, Space Cowboy." Basically, anything where it says Space Cowboy, sold.
Yeah,
So I thought,
or
I'm
your
going to be
character in
yeah,
Saints Row 3, which had cowboy chaps with
buttless
the
chaps.
arse hanging out
Yeah,
and a hat, wasn't it?
yeah, well, because nothing says space more than a hat.
Or having your arse hanging out.
I think I did have a Moon Man mask on at one point, so I think we
There we go.
probably covered it there as
There we
well.
go. The lead up to Destiny is complete.
Buttless chaps and a Moon Man mask.
So, what did you when you first went into the world? What were your first thoughts, or in the way that it looked, or the way it
Yeah,
controlled, or was there a certain way that it surprised you, or took your breath away? That kind of stuff.
it were pretty.
Mm.
It were pretty. It dumps you once you've made your dude. It literally throws you straight into a mission. I know the beta was a bit different to this, but it throws you straight in. You're like, boom, you're in. Right, okay, you're doing a thing. You're going to go over here and shoot a guy.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, okay, right, cool. It doesn't really give you much. It didn't give you much sort of narration or the Peter Dinklage robot comes up and says, oh, we should go over there and do that. I'm like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay. But as far as controls go, I kind of had to work it out. But it's pretty standard. Left stick makes you move, right stick makes you look, shoulder button shoots a gun, square button reloads the gun. It's pretty easy to get. You know, I think at this point shooters have a pretty standard move set that you can get on and immediately be effective.
Up and down, inverted or not?
When I press up on the left stick, the view goes up.
Oh, this show's over.
You one of those invert people?
I'm an invert guy. Yeah.
You're one of those.
Yeah.
No, I prefer it up and down, up and down. I just can't. I can't deal with it the other way around.
The cool thing that used to be standard on the 360 is in the settings menu, you could set it that if a game had such controls that it would automatically invert for you.
Well, that's kind of cool.
If that was your preference, and I always kind of dug that rather than sort of having to go into the menu every time, or doing that thing where it'd be like, press up on the joypad to touch the light. Is this the direction you want to go, or do you want to invert it? Y stroke N.
You say that, but I mean, I personally, for me, I always go into the options of every game before I start it anyway to make sure subtitles are on. You know, that sort of thing.
What?
I always put subtitles on. I don't like to miss things.
Honestly, I don't know how we get on. It's like we're like Paula Abdul and that cat. That should really speak to the younger listeners.
You take like a shuffle forward and a couple of leaps back.
Yeah. I always take subtitles off because I think it spoils what's going to be said, and I like a game to play out like a movie. So I'm hanging on every last word rather than read 2 lines on the screen and then look up to the screen.
Yeah, but I get distracted sometimes. Like if someone's talking, like Laura talks to me, and I'm like, I missed that. What was that?
Squirrel!
I like to have them at the bottom. Just I don't look at them generally unless like loud noises is happening.
Squirrel!
Squirrel. Yeah, that happens a lot. My pet chinchillas, they're basically fat squirrels, so I do go, oh, look at them. And then by the time I look back, I've missed something. I live on a noisy road as well, so it's like I don't want to miss things, especially games with lots of dialogue that, you know, like incidental dialogue that sort of you hear like...
I see. I live alone, so I don't get that problem.
No, I unfortunately have a crippling social obligation, so I need subtitles.
Following your recent wedding.
Yeah.
So yeah, you thought the world was quite pretty. How did you find the other players sort of running around in your game? Was that
quick? Actually, it was
a surprise. Did you sort of bugger about a little bit, and rather than going headlong into the mission, just
I buggered about a little bit. You know, you do your control test. You control test. You know what you mean when you start a game. You see what you see what stuff you've got. What have I got? You know, can I do this? Can I jump? Oh, I can jump. Can I double jump? Oh, I can double jump. You know, you bollock about with the controls and see what you can do. And while I was doing that, I think at least 3 or 4 more people just appeared. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, that was quick. There was no loading bar. There was no lobby message. It was just they're there. Oh, hello. And by that point, I'd found the waving and the dancing animation, so I went over to them and danced at them.
Yeah, but to take a step back from that a little bit, you've got that initial. I presume it was in the alpha where you're wandering past all those kind of rusty cars, and you see the Peter Dinklage thing. and
I don't think I had the train of rusty cars.
did you not?
I don't think so. I started on kind of a ledge, and you walk down it, and then there's bad guys.
Yeah, but I'm sure it was on the footage uh, of the beta that I saw.
Mm.
It showed you outside the world, and then a certain things arriving, and then the ghost sort of saying, I found you," and then it takes you inside.
Mm. Oh no, I've never that it starts either past that or I don't know. It
Okay.
starts away from that bit. It was definitely just a raw mission you start with.
Oh, was it the bit where it's you're inside and
You start outside and work your way in,
yeah, that's what
but
I'm talking about then.
not the same one as the beta because I've seen I
Oh,
watched a
right,
little
okay.
video. It's different.
Mm.
Definitely, it was different. You sort of go down a sort of like a zigzaggy path that go down a hill, and you kind of wallop your way around that. But there's no big line of cars like I saw in the beta
Okay.
videos. There's no big line of cars.
But does it take you into that bit inside where it gives you a gun and it teaches you to run left and right and that sort of stuff? Or
No, 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 no. By that point,
that's not there either.
you have a gun, you have things. By this point, it's assumed you know stuff. You just
All
go,
right.
you just get the fuck on with it. Immediately, you just get on with it. Like that, it doesn't give you any control help at the alpha, but it was an alpha. It was like
Yeah,
it's up
yeah.
for 3 days.
I was just having played the beta. I was wondering
Hmm.
sort of how much they gave you on in the alpha.
It's the Wizards on the Moon mission.
So you like the dancing and the goofy stuff,
I
especially.
love the goofy stuff. I like in dark like we. For those of you who might be listening for the first time, me and CJ make a podcast called Twin Humanities where we talk about Dark Souls a lot, and because we love it. And I think half the fun I find is, goofing around with emoticons, and waving at people and dancing and pointing at them. Uh, I get a lot out of that. It's dumb, but I enjoy it.
Mm.
And immediately found those buttons, found they were easy to get to, and kind of sold me a little bit right there because I can bollock about in this.
Hmm.
In inappropriate moments, I can dance. Sold.
So what was it that was there anything in particular that took your breath away? I know you said you found the world pretty, but were there certain things in the missions that you played that kind of made you go, or
Reload animations.
yeah?
Oh, give me a reload animation. I love a good reload. For those of you listening that don't, go play Resi 4 because it has the best reload animations you'll ever see. They are stunning, really good. But Destiny has some great reload animations, and it's again the little things, like that's meaty, or yeah, chuck that clip away and slam the new one in and cock the yeah.
But how did it get beyond your liking of first person shooters? How did it tackle that, or
I
was
think
it?
it was due to the fact that there were other people just not even partied up, just kind of generally moving through the world the same time I was. And it had a shade of the Borderlands about it.
Are you a fan of the Borderlands?
I like the Borderlands. Yeah, I find the problem I find with Borderlands is I get to a point where I get bored of it. But irony aside, I do. I mean, I beat the first one, but by the end, I was getting bored because you are doing just the same thing, and you're getting cool new guns every 5 minutes. But it's like, just same gun, bigger number. Like,
I think that for me, versus the Borderlands thing, I again played a lot of the first one and played a chunk of the second one. Not massively, but I rented it initially and then got it on PS Plus, and I found that at a certain point that I'd be going into a level and I'd kind of make about 5 steps forward, then I'd have to run back about 15 steps and hide from the things that were running at me. Whereas and all of my momentum seemed funneled. It seemed pointed towards one direction or running in the opposite direction.
Backpedaling and firing like a madman. I totally agree. Yeah, like especially when there's like a pile of skags and like, I can't take them all out.
And I think the thing that I really enjoyed in comparison with the Destiny beta, which I'll go into sort of my experiences with that in a moment, but I quite liked the thought of either of seeing something in a distance and going, right, well I can see there's something around that side of that plane. So if I go all the way over there and I try and track around the back of the plane, or I can get into it, right, I'll go in this way. There's something. Oh God, I'm being surrounded. Right, where do I go? Right, I'll go back through that plane, and then I'll go round the other side. It was almost like this sort of footballing strategy of sort of looking at the pitch and sort of planning out the tactics of how I'd take them down. And even when you got a ship that dropped in the distance, and you could maybe see other people taking them on, rather than going to the mission that I was told to go to, it'd be like, no, I think I'll go over there. I'll take out some of those guys.
Right? Because like every time I saw a ship drop, I was like, well, we're doing that. Like, okay, go over there, do the mission, or shoot these guys right here. I'm shooting these guys right here.
But I found that really relaxing as well, because a lot of the stuff I was playing on the beta was after work, and I mentioned last year that in particular when I was playing Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate on Wii U, that I'd come home and I'd just kick into the online side of things, and I just find it, I don't know, really fun to sort of run around. But when you've got those sort of cross eyes and you feel a little bit tired and stuff, it sort of sat really well within that. And with Destiny, I can imagine that even if I didn't want to throw myself into concentrating on a mission, I genuinely think I could be quite happy jumping around and sort of taking out a few of the bad guys.
Absolutely.
In a general area.
Yeah.
But magnify that with if you're online or a few other friends were online as well. I'd be quite.
Do you want to hang out and do a thing? Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Like I agree. I spent a lot of time just running about in the hub world. Picking up missions from the little beacons and just generally bollocking about, and just going where the mood took me.
I found the landscape really well designed as well, and I found it a lot of fun to just run about and explore and enjoy and take out sort of bad guys and stuff. And
it's good that you've got a tasty double jump as well. Like you can get around it as well. Like you can't think, oh god, I'm going to get that. You can just jump. I think that helps the sense of sort of freedom you get when you're running around the hub world. You're like, I can get up there, I can do that, I can do these things easy. Yeah.
So after you played the alpha, you decided not to jump into the beta. Had you just seen enough and just thought, right, I'll wait for
the reasons were twofold. The reasons were twofold. Firstly, my wedding was coming up, and frankly, I didn't really have the time to give it. I didn't really want to get too, waste too much time playing with it, because I knew if I started, I'd get stuck. I would have got stuck. And secondly, I enjoyed the alpha. I played it. I really liked it. I got to the level cap and, got some cool stuff. I thought, you know what? That'll do. I want to go in fresh now. I want to get it, the full experience. I want to do it fresh. So I decided to skip the beta because I want to go in as fresh as a daisy. Like I want to start perfect. I want to have. Oh yeah, this is that first mission from the beta. Like the alpha didn't have a lot to it. It had one area and a few missions. And that was it. I'd really I'm interested to see how the story starts off. That sort of thing. But yeah, I decided. You know what? I'm skipping it. I'm going to start properly.
You'd had enough of a taste.
I've had my taste. I know I want it. And I think I decided. Yeah, I'm going to go on sort of not blackout on it, but I don't need to play it again. I'm going to save it and try and experience it fully. The same way I am with Dark Souls. I've not played any of the DLCs yet, and I'm avoiding the videos of them because I want to go in fresh when I do. Same with Destiny. Want to go in fresh.
So yeah, the beta came out a week afterwards, I believe. And
it was it a week? Can't have been a week. Must have been more than that. It was a month, wasn't it?
I don't know.
It was a little while. I
know it was a week between the PlayStation 4 Vita coming out and it arriving on everything else. And initially, folks there were beta codes that were being given away with pre-orders, but folks were saying that you could cancel your pre-orders and your beta code would still be valid. And I think they kind of clicked onto that after a little while, because the beta launched on Xbox One, Xbox 360. I think, did the PS3 beta go live at the same time as the PS4? I think it did, didn't it?
I believe you are correct, sir.
Yeah. But
I like the way as well that the beta, when it went out, like everybody got 3 keys. Like they wanted people to play this motherfucker,
well, I think they were
didn't they?
clicking on to the fact that that a lot of people were putting their orders in for the game,
Mm.
and I don't know, a few people were cancelling it
Mm.
early just to see how it was, but
We were talking about this the other day, weren't we, when we were playing Dark Souls together? We saw a quote from someone on Twitter, I can't remember who now, that said, all that alpha or beta may have, cost them a few sales. I think it's won them far more.
well, there's a few different ways of looking at this, and the point that I was meaning to make was I think they realised that within people putting in pre-orders and getting the beta keys, and some people sort of cancelling it and then ready to make up their mind at a later point. A few days into the week when it arrived on Xbox consoles, they just said, just go to the store, you can download it. Thanks very much for everybody that's given us feedback so far. We want to open it up to everybody else, which is superb publicity,
Isn't it?
and
Hey everyone, try this! Like brilliant.
you got the news from analysts where they said that Destiny was set to be the biggest gaming launch in the last 4 years. And I don't know if this was based on pre-orders around the time at the beta, in which case you've got your statistics. If that information had been gleaned before that, but if there was anything that came from the beta, people had an opinion on whether they were getting the game or not thereafter. And it wasn't a case of, oh yeah, I think I might get that. It was a case of most people had played it by that point and had got an opinion on it. There were certain folks that had, really looking forward to it, didn't click with. There were lots of us that got really excited. But
I also know of the other camp of people. Good close friend of the show, Sean McElroy. I was talking to him a second ago about this before we got on. We'll be buying it maybe a month or two down the line, once it's the game, the full experience has panned out. I know he's worried about maybe the substance, given the size of the world maps.
Yeah, but
I think there's another camp of people that are waiting to see how the community takes it.
There's another side of it within a game like this, especially that the soul of the game may well have dissipated a little bit. There's something really exciting about being on the cusp of this sort of thing at launch, and everybody just chattering on Twitter and on forums, and just getting really swept up in it. Oh, have you seen this? No, I haven't. That's really energetic, and I think that it's definitely going to be there with Destiny upon launch, and it's one of the sort of crackles of excitement that I've got about it. But
how was the leveling up for you? Because I found I hit the level cap in the alpha within about 4 hours.
Well, I played the 360 beta, and the initial look of it, I thought it wasn't the art wasn't as detailed as Reach, but obviously you once again you're not being funneled in a certain direction, but it was very painterly, and I really liked that. There was a real watercolor look, and it compared nicely to the footage I'd seen of the other versions. It's
colourful, isn't it? Right, it's colourful.
Yeah, I mean, it still ran at 30 frames per second. I believe there were a few things that were not quite there in comparison to the PS4 and the Xbox One versions, but I really enjoyed the experience to the point where I kind of went in not really knowing what to expect. I got your tip of the hat from the alpha, my experience with the Halo games and loving Bungie.
And if I recommend a shooting game, you better listen.
Well, I don't know. Andy Hamilton from Midnight Resistance had mentioned it gave him a bit of a Phantasy Star Online feel with sort of the hub world and stuff, and but for such a big game to be going into a beta not really knowing what to expect is quite unusual in this day and age.
Do you know the vibe I got off it? I got time splitters off it.
Really?
I really did, yeah. Colourful, knockabout. The actual act of running and shooting was quite silly and fun. I enjoyed it. I thought, this was the last shooting game I enjoyed was Time Splitters. Damn, dog.
But within that, you got the contrast of when you did go into darkened areas, it felt really sinister
Yeah.
and it felt really scary, and I really loved that. But
And,
but
and
yeah,
then and then Peter Dinklage talks about moon wizards and ruins it.
well, not in the
I say
beta version, he
ruin.
didn't.
I say enhance it.
Not in the beta version, he didn't.
I'm so bummed they took that out. It's a goofy line, and the internet immediately sold on it. But I think it's part of the charm. I think Moon Wizards was a great line. I laughed. It took me out of it a little bit, but I did enjoy it.
We'll come back to that later.
Ooh, there's a
But
man with secrets.
with regards to leveling up, I noticed that when I was going into a mission, it was automatically set on medium. But if I set it to hard, it would give me more experience points. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'll go for this because I think it would give me greater experience faster. And I was curious to see what the difference was. So, and I could set this before each of the missions that I was going on. And whilst the medium version, if there was something in front of me that I was firing at, there'd be a little circle that maybe dance a little bit left and right to home in on the enemy a little bit. But that was removed on the harder version, and soon got used to the regular crosshair rather than the slight assist on there, and yeah, kicked on.
Nice.
Leveled up sort of quite nicely.
Do you reckon they're going to slow that down for the full release?
I think it's a valid thing to keep in there because I presume if you drop it down to easy, there'll be even more of an assist for people.
Yeah. Oh no, I mean the speed at which one gains XP and levels up is what I'm more, because I found I was leveled up to whatever I leveled up to the cap pretty quickly and easily.
But
I think the cap's only 20, isn't it?
What, on the full game or the beta?
20 full game.
Don't know.
And I got to 8 in 4 hours. I was like, but then I
mean,
suppose they want to give you power. You don't want to walk around for 20, for 3 hours with just a rubbish gun.
Maybe they just want people to be much of a muchness and to level together, because maybe there'll be a point later on where they go, we're increasing the level cap to level 30. This is what we're introducing into the game, because I know they said that the game's going to evolve as it goes along. And this then comes back to in comparison to Sean McElroy's comment that whereas if you start in the game and people are between 1 and 20, if he comes into the game a few months down the line, it might be 1 and 50. So
yeah, although I've heard, just maybe to quash that slightly, I've heard that the way the leveling's going to work is it will stop at 20, but you will then level up further with gear up to theoretically 29, but you'll still be level 20, but the gear you will have will put you up to level, I think they said 29 if you ran rough numbers and worked it out.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that they may well increase that level cap further down the line
possibly.
Anyway.
Yeah, possibly.
Because they said it's going to be an ever-changing and I know, adaptive world. So I'd be very, very surprised if they kept the level cap at 20/29 with gear.
But I think you're right. But
yeah,
I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It's a long game. There's a season pass and everything involved. So.
But yeah, when I think the bit where the game really sort of shook me and I went like, oh, and I don't think this was in the alpha, but there was a bit on the mission where you fight through to this old spaceship, and the Dinklage's ghost comes out and says that's
a good band name.
Yeah. So it comes out and says, the equivalent, I'll see if I can get it running. And you see sort of the ship shaking and like these rusty old engines start to turn. But the music started going like doing a proper Star Wars, doing a dun 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 dun. And I was like, oh, it's one of those where I just kind of pushed myself back on the couch and just went like.
Just fly that ship so hard.
This big nerd moment, and it wasn't even that. It was just the fact that there was this huge, this really iconic moment of music, and I was thrilled from a storytelling perspective, and that was the point where I wasn't just enjoying myself in the world and getting used to it. I was invested at that point, because it made me feel like I was a 7-year-old watching Star Wars again. And that's a pretty cool thing for a game to list it sort of this far down the line, I guess.
Totally, yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So how do you think Destiny will hold its own as a shooter? Because we've got Titanfall big on Xbox One, multiplayer wise. You've got Call of Duty on both systems.
Yep.
Um, Master Chief Collections coming to Xbox One November, and then the Halo 5 Guardians beta
True.
is coming after that. And
I think personally, I think it's got the most competition it's going to have is going to be on the Microsoft platforms. It's
okay.
Like you say, your Halo Master Chief Collection, you've got your Titanfall, you've got your Halo 5 on its way at some point. I think that Bungie were probably wise to push the PS4 as the kind of the one that they're promoting it with, because they favoured the PS4 over any other platform in the marketing and in the fact that it was the only platform that got the alpha. I think they're wise to do it because it has probably less competition on the PS4. And they want everyone playing it. They want it to be part of the thing. In the same way that Halo, just became the shooter that people played on the Xbox. I think they want Destiny to be that on the PS4. I think they can compete on the Xbox One. I think they're going to sell billions of copies. Once Halo drops, I don't know how many people are going to keep playing. I really don't, because Halo, it has that strength behind the brand that people will, they buy the machine for Halo. I know lots and lots and lots and lots of people who bought their Xboxes for Halo. And the fact that people still play Halo now, they're still organising Halo nights left, right and centre. I think it's going to have the hardest time on the Xbox platforms, definitely.
The first Halo was a launch title on the original Xbox and was magnificent. One of those first-person shooters that changed first-person shooters, along with kind of Half-Life, I guess. But with what we'll term the PlayStation controversy, I think you may well be right with regards to there not being as much competition on that machine, but perhaps that interest was courted by Sony initially anyway because of that reason. Because I've read a few places that have said that Bungie advised on the DualShock 4 as well.
Yeah, totally. I think Sony were very wise to court that relationship, because when you look at what they've got, shooter wise on the PS4, you've got Call of Duty, you've got your batters, which for the kind of person that likes Call of Duty or batters, brilliant, but for me, nah, it's not really my thing. Killzone, it's okay, but it's not. You don't sell consoles with Killzone. You just don't.
I think sort of coming from a place of knowing Bungie's games sort of pretty well from 360, they bring a certain degree of polish and class.
I think you're right. Not to say that the games that the shooting games on the PS4 are bad. I'm not saying that at all. I got Killzone with my PS4. I thought it was okay. And this is again as a non-shooter man. But even being the Sony pony that I am, I find it very hard to recommend Killzone when someone says, "Oh, what should I get for my PS4?" And I find it very, very hard to recommend it. Whereas once Destiny comes out, like, Destiny, get that.
It's interesting in that regard that Metro 2033 and Metro Last Light came out.
The Redux versions.
A week and a bit ago, and came out with quite a fanfare from places like Digital Foundry on Eurogamer, saying how much effort had been put into to changing the games up, to improving the AI, not just the visuals, giving, say, 2033 the same stealth options as were there in Last Light, and making the two sort of mesh together. And I wondered with those games if they were perhaps launching at the wrong time, because there were price drops to here in England. Like, I got mine for $22.99 for two HD remasters on one disc. That's bonkers. And my initial thoughts were, I guess pre-orders haven't been very good for these then. and that's the reason that they're dropping to those sort of points. But there are people that I know that have been playing them, like there's I think it's Scott from BitSocket and Guy Woodward from Chucky Dregs have been absolutely adoring them, and that went to #1. So I'm wondering if the market that's clamoring for Destiny saw a shooter and just went, "Oh yeah, I'll have some of that." So if it's the opposite of my instincts that people are clamoring for something and the little bit of something beforehand which turned out to be really good was both there at the right time because people wanted to play something, but was there at the right price so that people were thinking, yeah, I'm they might not have paid 45 quid for it, but at 23 they were like, there's no way I'm not going to buy that. Which
it's
cool.
It's a kind of a no-brainer price. You're getting 2 proper decent shooting games for 20 odd quid. Yeah, sold.
So the PS3 and the PS4 are getting time limited map, extra ships, gear, and weapons, and I think that's an exclusive for about a year, isn't it? I don't think it's going to be.
It is pretty much a year, yeah. And I don't really it's nice, I guess, but
I don't know. I always think with those things that I kind of feel sorry for the opposite platform because it's you remember when the Metal Gear Solid Phantom Pain stuff was coming out, and they initially said, "Oh, there'll be certain exclusive missions on the Xbox One."
Oh, the Ground Zeroes.
Yeah,
where the PlayStation got the Deja Vu Snake, which was the PS1 Snake, and the 360, the Xbox platforms got Raiden.
Yeah, so to get the full experience, you'd have had to bolt it on both. I hate that stuff. I hate it when it's you see things like Assassin's Creed and it's like 60 minutes worth of extra missions on PlayStation. It's like, really? Sod off.
Yeah. It's okay. I mean, I find often that the bonus missions that people provide that thing generally aren't much to write home about. Bonus outfits and gun skins are great and all, but you'll probably find something better. I mean, case in point, the Dark Souls 2 pre-order pack weapons that everybody immediately forgets as soon as you begin the game. You're going to find better stuff than that. It's cool, I guess, but you don't want to be that guy who just uses the pre-order weapons look at my pre-order stuff.
I was looking on Games page for it, and the games. Let me link you to this because they've got exclusive ships: the Aurora Lance, the Crypt Hammer, and the Outrageous Fortune.
I like the name Crypt Hammer.
They've got a gun called the Hawk Moon, one called the Monte Carlo. There's an exclusive map, an exclusive game, Argus Manifold Vanilla. And there's a Dusk Palace Strike mission as well. Let me just send you the link to this. This is, if you're from Blighty, it's on game.co.uk on their big Destiny page, and it's a certain way down past the different formats.
Yeah. I think it's cool, the stuff they're giving out. It's nice looking. I'm kind of hoping that we can colour our armour in. I know it's petty, but I want to make, because I know when you start your game, you make your dude, but then in missions, your guy has a helmet on the whole time, doesn't he? Or her, or robot. You'll always have. I don't think
that's going to be the case,
You'll always have your face covered. I really hope that. I mean, from what I've seen of the armour, that there's enough. There's good variation in the armour. I've seen a lot of cool looking stuff. I really hope we can colour it in ourselves. I hope we can choose a paint scheme for it, because even if it costs money, that's fine. It'll cost money, great. I need to have an orange head.
So yeah, on that front, just talking about armour for a moment, there's a couple of Dark Souls armours that are in there.
What?
Did you not know about this?
What?
Yeah, there's a couple of Dark Souls armors that are in Destiny. Let me see if I can.
What are they? No.
Did you not know?
Are you serious?
Yeah. Let me just see if I can find it. One of them is relating to. Here we go. The first armor is called Heart of the Praxic Fire,
Right.
and it said item description. In that last moment, she seemed as wholly luminescent to the sun as the sun, and I wish to be so brave.
What?
Yeah, and
You've
there's
literally blown my mind.
there's another one as well. And there's like a little Solaire-ish logo on the armor.
Right?
Um,
That is mental.
I'll see if I can find a decent picture, but I remember when I saw it because Borderlands as well had its nod to Dark Souls, didn't
Oh, there
it?
was a bonfire, wasn't there, or something?
Yeah, and a crestfallen warrior.
That is mental. You've literally broken me.
Really?
I didn't even conceive that would be. Whoa!
But yeah,
Cool. Well sold. Yep.
yeah, I think we'll be Team Heart of the Praxic Fire then in that case.
Definitely. Yep.
So yeah, there's a couple of them as well, which made me very, very excited. So yeah, that I'm glad I could make your day with regards to that.
That's incredible. I had no idea. You've blown my goddamn mind. Tuesday, hurry up.
But yeah, PlayStation have got the a white PS4 that's coming with a Destiny bundle.
So sexy.
There's a PS3 bundle for Destiny, believe it or not, and Microsoft seem to have gone rather proactive by doing sort of, I wouldn't say official bundles, but they're doing packs whereby you get Destiny free if you buy an Xbox One, or the one that's on game.co.uk at the minute is for the same price as a regular Xbox One, you get Destiny and Master Chief Collection.
That's very good.
So they're playing hardball to try and get people to choose the Xbox One over the PS4. So that's interesting to see that they're putting up that kind of fight.
I'll be very interested to see the sales figures.
Well, I think PS4 is gonna take the majority of that, just simply because Microsoft with the 360, people would buy games on 360 and indeed pick up the consoles because that's where my mates play it. And it's almost gone the opposite way this time.
Totally. I mean, but think like, a couple of years ago, if we'd have said that, the next Bungie game is going to sell better on PS4, who would believe you?
Well, wasn't there a thing in certain quarters where people were saying that Bungie, I'm not going to buy Destiny because Bungie have turned on us and all this sort of stuff. Please give it a
no,
rest.
they're making a game for more people. That means you're not. Oh, just stop it. If you're one of those people, stop it. Hopefully you won't be. Hopefully you'll be a classy person if you're listening to us.
The cool thing is that at least when the Xbox One version, was it something like 920p on the
yeah, and the PS4 version has like 100 more Ps.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to see much of a difference,
honestly,
unless you're watching on like a 50-odd screen, 50-odd inch TV anyway. But with the Xbox Ones, with them freeing up more power, I think Microsoft have worked with Bungie to get it up to 1080p for the finished version, which is great. I'm just really happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is though, for me, I mean, I'm very easy to please. Like screen resolutions, for me, the only thing like screen resolution wars are good for is internet arguments. Like I literally I cannot see the difference sometimes between 720 and 1080. I literally can't see it. I look at it and going, what's different here? I don't know. Like you can see the difference between SD and HD. Brilliant, easy. But like the difference between 900p and 1080p when you're actually moving and playing the game and you're not just poring over a screenshot. Like, come on, get a life, guys. Come on, please.
There was the guys that did the Metro Redux versions, and I'm sure there's something similar on that where it's like 980p on Xbox One, and 1080 on PS4.
Yeah, or like the way Mario Kart is like 59 frames a second, and apparently that's a problem.
Well, apparently it flicks between 59 and 60 frames per second sometimes. But,
oh God!
But yeah, on that Metro one, the guy was saying he says that if you're there's more to a look on screen than just the hard resolutions, and you won't look at the Xbox One version and kind of wish it was pushing 1,000 more pixels because it's like, yeah, that's fair enough. Just enjoy your games, for crying out loud.
Yeah. Stop
So
arguing and have fun, you
yeah.
idiots.
So yeah, we've got a few little bits of controversy that kicked in. So following the PlayStation controversy, we had a music controversy that Martin McDonnell, who's done the music for all of the Halo games, was removed from his position before the game came out and took Bungie to court and won. He is responsible for some of my favorite game soundtracks ever. I mean, I love ODST and Reacher soundtracks, but not quite sure why they've done this, as to whether they didn't want to have a musician remain on staff and they were cutting corners. But you got the
cutting corners.
The
game cost $500 million.
Well, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense, and the truth still hasn't really come out about it. Plus, not long beforehand, you got the guy who wrote the majority of the Halo games, Joseph Staten, left Bungie as well. I don't know. You can sort of look and just go, what's going on? And it wouldn't surprise me if both of those turned up on Halo 5, which would be a huge coup. But and the strange thing is, because I am a huge fan of Martin McDonnell, and he's done the music with Paul McCartney.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think McCartney's going to release something from the game himself, which is quite bizarre. But
wow. And as a man who likes Paul McCartney, I'm very behind that. I know it's very cool to not like Paul McCartney, but
because he's done the music with Paul McCartney and with Michael Salvatore, who he did the Halo music with as well. But the strange thing is that there's no OST available to buy thus far. And Halo games have always launched with the soundtracks being available on Amazon and stuff like that. No soundtrack available.
Maybe it's been snarled up by that.
I don't know, but I'd like it. The music's really good. So then we'll move on to what we'll call That Wizard Came from the Moon.
Oh, my best controversy ever.
Honestly, I wish they'd have kept that in the game because I really liked it.
It's goofs. It's a goof. It's a proper good goof. And I don't think they... when you think... They must have known it was silly. Someone must have seen that, but maybe they didn't. Maybe they thought, they're all, they think wizard means a different thing. They're so entrenched within the mythos that wizard means this kind of enemy. Whereas on the face of it, that wizard came from the moon. It's just a brilliant line.
But people could, some folks sneered at it, and other folks just went, "That's ace."
Yeah, I was in that comment. I laughed. Because I was playing and I didn't know it was a thing. And you're playing along and you're going through. You get into this middle bit. You think, oh, I'm really into this. This is cool. I'm going to shoot some guys in a minute. They're really scary. That wizard came from the moon, and you just sort of put your controller down and go, "What?"
That's awesome. It's so awesome, but it's become iconic, and it's no longer in the game.
No, but it has been used for good because Bungie have put a T-shirt up on their website of That Wizard Came from the Moon, and I believe most, if not all, of the proceeds are going to charity.
Yeah, and they did a huge amount of money. It was a limited edition,
definitely,
and it did a huge amount of money. And they put out a press release, sort of saying, forgive us for a little bit of dust in our engines, because Dinklage came in for quite a lot of criticism for his performance, and there wasn't the alpha didn't have the effect on his voice that the beta did, but maybe he went in being told that he was an AI.
Deliver it like a robot. I think he does a great job. I honestly I like the delivery.
Yeah.
He's got enough sort of slight snark behind it without getting too emotional.
Well, they put more of a kind of vocoder effect on his voice in the beta, and apparently there's still stuff that's going to be done to his voice
I heard
between
that.
then and the finished version. But I really liked it. I didn't hate it at all.
If they're doing more, I'll definitely put subtitles on. I don't want to miss anything in the vocoder mess.
No, I mean, I don't mean it was like it was just like a slight roboticness, and maybe that's where they told him that the color and the inflections would come in.
Mm.
But I liked his performance, and I hope, I'd love it if that Wizard Came from the Moon is further on in the game,
Yeah.
because if they put that back in further on in the game, people will absolutely bladder themselves in the best way. People
Yeah.
will be like, "It's still there!"
Hey!
So yeah, then we've got the review controversy.
Oh
So
yeah, God, there's so many, aren't there? I
so
didn't realize how
on
many controversies there were until you started listing them.
So Arthur Gies from Polygon mentioned on the forums that reviewers would only get their copy the day before release date.
Mm.
Now I tweeted initially that I was
Worried, weren't you?
worried by this, yeah, but was wisely corrected by Twitter.
One of me. I did that too.
No, it's kind of nice that that the hive mind can find a little bit of sense when I come home and I'm kind of cross-eyed and trying to have beans on toast. And I'm like, I'm horrified by that.
No, but my thinking on it is, they've built the world to be interconnected. You know, it's not just shooting the aliens; it's shooting the aliens with loads of people around. And I reckon if they put the game to reviewers a week early, maybe before the servers are officially on, maybe before there's enough people playing it to form that kind of constant community. Would it have the same effect as the game proper with enough people in it? And I think they're honestly holding it back so they can put the game out with the community in place. I mean, that's what I missed when I reviewed Dark Souls 2 a week ahead of time.
Yeah, I remember you saying.
There was no online, there were no summons, there were no messages, there was no help. Like, if I got stuck, I got stuck. And it was a very different game than the first time I played Dark Souls 1. Because there were summons, there were people you could summon in, there were messages, there was all sorts. And I think that's the thing they've gone for with this is that they're waiting to get everybody in at one go and go, right, everybody go nuts. And I think that's clever. I honestly think that's a very, very clever move.
Well, I think that there's no sense in a game which hinges on a massive populace only being filled by journalists.
Yeah.
For a start, and also, I mean,
how many reviews have you read where they talk about multiplayer things and there wasn't really much games going on, but we'll see what happens when it goes live? Like, that's the whole game of Destiny, isn't it?
Well, I mean, there's always been a sharp eye on review embargoes, and Ubisoft are always beasts for that sort of thing. But with the alpha and the beta, most folks have made up their mind whether it's for them or not.
Definitely.
So people are in a position where they've made an informed decision already. The majority of them.
I mean, what better review than playing it your goddamn self for a few hours?
Well, I think there's that, but there'll also be those folks that maybe weren't so keen on the beta, who, I mean, Twitter's fantastic for this sort of stuff, and if they see all the mates going like, "Oh my god, it's amazing, we're doing all this, and we went in on a battle together," and they might just think, "Yeah, I'll have me a bit of that," because it can be quite a sway for things like that when everybody's in together.
If all your mates are talking about it, you're like, "Oh, I've got to find out what this actually is." And for all the negatives that Twitter does have at the minute. With the various things that are happening on Twitter that aren't very good, it does have the power to really excite you sometimes. If all your friends are talking about something, you think, well, what is that? I've got to find out about it. And I reckon people that are holding off for the first week, they may kind of have that little twitch of the eye and go, okay, I'm going to go buy it now.
So yeah, then we'll go on to you've got the versions, and we touched on sort of resolutions and stuff and all that sort of gubbins between Xbox One and PS4. But there's a YouTuber called Blunty, and I watched a video that he put up where he did side by side the Xbox One and the PS4 beta. But he wisely said that he favoured the PS4 version purely because he found the DualShock 4 sticks less twitchy and more accurate than the Xbox Ones. But he also said this could be because he was used to the game on PS4 from playing the alpha and then playing the beta. So
that's fair, yeah.
it's just used to the pad. But and I was like, yeah, that's kind of cool. He seemed like a really honest bloke and stuff. I saw, obviously, I played the 360 version. I saw the PS3 version on Video Gamers comparison between the versions. And yeah, again, it might not look as naturally as sharp as the PS4 and the Xbox One versions.
Mm.
But those look like great games, and they move smoothly, and the game plays almost identically. So I don't think anybody's losing out if they go for the for those gens versions at all.
And if they decide to go for those gens versions and do upgrade, of course, you can upgrade your version for goddamn free.
Well, you can digitally. If you buy the game digitally on PS3, you can upgrade to the PS4
There's
version.
a wrinkle I didn't know about.
And if you buy it digitally on 360, you can upgrade free to the Xbox One.
Still reasonable though, decent though, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's another one where they've looked at the clipboard and the things that they've printed out and have just written on the bottom like, oh, this would be a nice addendum. So I think they're trying to make it difficult for people not to buy it.
Yeah,
which is really clever, and they seem to be going out of their way
to make it desirable.
Yeah, for everybody. So
does that bring us on to the next one?
Well, the little addendum that I'm going to add here is that that the game is playable on Vita.
Damn good, right? And they're ignoring back touch completely, which it might be good.
Well, again, this is something that's been highlighted recently, and Bungie have said that it's this is available. The same gent that I mentioned earlier, Blunty, on YouTube, did a Vita video on the beta.
Oh, nice!
And I was like, wow, that's really cool. And he was saying, obviously, there's a little bit of lag and stuff, but if you're away from your telly, you won't particularly know that. And it's not quite as good on the Vita sticks as it would be on the regular pad. But if that's an option for you, playing away from home from home or playing bed or whatever, it's still a way to play the game, and it's pretty cool. So
giving the TV to your significant other, for example.
Touchscreen stuff was pretty cool as well.
Yeah, oh, wicked.
Yeah, I'm sure that it's something like the second stick. Sorry, the what would be sort of the right one and the left one.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's moved to the right and left side of the touchscreen.
Oh, okay.
So it's something like that, and I was like, yeah, I'm pretty impressed with that.
I can dig that.
Yeah.
Cool. So are we at trailer controversy yet?
Trailer controversy?
Live action trailer controversy.
Well,
shall I explain?
Go on.
Well, the trailer that came out a few days ago, the live action trailer they released, where they did a short 2-minute clip of some Guardians, bollocking about in different places with some awesome Led Zeppelin over the top. I noticed caught quite a bit of heat from the internet initially.
What?
Honestly, yeah.
Why?
People went, oh, that's a waste of money, wasn't it? Oh, it didn't even look that good.
Come
on. Like, that trailer is one of the most fun trailers I think I've seen in a very long time, because they know, like, it's goofy and it's a big silly game. We're big, we're moon wizards, and I think the trailer gets that kind of the fun aspect. And I watched that, and the trailer finished, and I sat there with a big goddamn grin on my face. And then I went on the internet. I was like, why does everybody hate this? And I think the public opinion of it has upswung a bit now, but initially there's a lot of like harsh reactions I saw.
I loved it. I mean,
I loved it.
It took me back to Bungie was always great at doing live action trailers for the Halo stuff, and in particular on Reach they did some trailers that were quite actor based.
Mm-hmm.
They showed lots of people trying to escape the planet or bustling around sort of a certain area of the city, and this little girl with a red balloon, and the red balloon lets go, and you just see the shadow of a Covenant kit, the sort of ship coming across the top of the crowd, and it then cut into black and saying "Remember Reach." And then having a conversation between like a man and a wife, and the wife was pregnant, and they really humanized the world at that point, and that this is a world that's full of people that if you go in it and you know that everybody dies. And then they did a live action trailer with kind of Spartans and a massive battle, and it was jaw dropping. And rather than, I don't know why or how people can turn their nose up at that, because I just look at it and just go, ho, that's going to be me soon.
It had the same sort of look and sort of feel to it that the. Did you see those PS4 trailers they did?
Mhm.
Of the guy sort of walking through a street where there's all sort of game stuff happening around him. In the Greatness Awaits trailers, I think it was. There's a guy in like a slick sort of purple suit, and there was sort of there was assassins running around the background and Killzone guys running about. I love those. Again, it was the fun. It was like,
Yeah.
that's quite cool. It's goofy. I
Well,
like
I
it.
wonder with that live action trailer because I looked at it and just
Mm,
thought, oh, yeah, that's going to be.
mm,
It just screamed fun. But
mm.
imagine we're the target market for that, and
Oh yeah.
we've looked on it and just gone, oh.
Yep.
But
Sold.
imagine if that is played before Guardians of the Galaxy,
Ooh.
or if that's played on the telly over the weekend. How big a draw is that going to be? Because
Mm.
I'll throw this into the mix that there's a guy I know through work called Chris, and I was speaking to him and his girlfriend the other day,
Mm-hmm.
and I was saying, "Oh, I'm taking a week off next week for a video game," and he was like, "What video game?" I was like, "Oh, Destiny," and he was like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah, why?" And he was like, what character are you playing? I was like, well, I played a warlock in the beta, and he was like, so did I. I was like, we just embraced. And it turned out that he'd been out of video games for years and years and years.
Mm.
He went round to a friend's, and his friend was like, oh, this is a big game that's coming up. It's Destiny. Give it a go. And he's bought a PS4 for it.
Wow.
So I wonder how many other folks might see that trailer or see sort of little bits of the hype and stuff and just think, oh, I haven't played a. Oh, this is the people that made Halo. Oh, I'll pick that up. Oh, this looks really good. And especially, I tell you what, mentioning Guardians of the Galaxy, if that trailer does play before a Guardians of the Galaxy, that's your audience.
Yeah. That's your space opera friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally. Agree. Completely. Like I dig the whole, just the feel, like the atmosphere of the trailer was good. It was just
Mm-hmm.
three mates dicking about. Like even the cheesy Venus baby moment. Like I was like, okay, yeah, sold. Or the hood pop
Mm-hmm.
at the end, just a little. Psh, I was like, because I'm gonna pick a hunter, I immediately thought, yep. Just feed that to me. Just give it to me on a plate. But I've showed my younger sister and her boyfriend were round to ours playing games last night. I showed them that trailer, and they were both rather impressed as well. It doesn't even show any gameplay, but it doesn't need to.
Nah, it gives proof of concept in a
Yes.
way that's better than a lot of the CGI trailers that are shown at the likes of an E3 because the game's done.
Mm.
It just I don't know. I just screamed of everything that I've played in the beta.
Mm.
Everything that I got jazzed about was shown off in that
Yep.
with Led Zeppelin.
Speeder bikes and Led Zeppelin. Sold.
Well, I put out a little call on Twitter earlier on, just to sort of see a bit of a straw poll as to.
Did you sound the opinion horn?
I did.
Oh.
View hello. Um, so yeah, let me see. The first person to reply was Joshua Garrity.
Hey,
Said
from
that-
Kane and Rince.
Yes, he said if he does get it, it'll be on PS4.
Mm-hmm.
And when I queried as to whether that'd be day one, he said it depends entirely on word of mouth from people I trust.
Ooh.
So, because I don't think he had his PS4 when the beta came out. I think he got that for his birthday a little while after. So yeah, that'll be he's sort of waiting to see how the land lies, but is possibly going to jump in sort of quite quickly after that. I already know that James Carter and Darren Gargett are both sort of ponying up for
Both of Kane and Rince.
Rince.
Yep.
I'd imagine Leon would be as well. Paul Duggan said, I'll be getting it on PS4. Excited after playing the alpha and beta. There's even a Solaire-inspired set of gear. And gives us a link to that.
Yep. Thank you, because again, I blew my mind.
Yes, indeed. Can't wait for that. Chris Williams, your mate D-Sonic X,
Oh, yeah.
said I'm getting it on PS4.
Nice.
It'd be nice to finally go past level 8. Lol. Spry Farron said, I'm not decided yet if I'll go for it, but it'll have to be the Xbox One version. It would mean no raid mode for me, though. I know people that are getting it, but they all own PS4s, and that's what they'll get all their multi-platform stuff on. It's very, very annoying when everyone's over the other side of the fence.
Yeah, welcome to what it was like to be a PlayStation gamer about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Friends, what are they?
So Don Blake said, "I'm very excited for it now. I'm on PS4. I hope there's no server disappointment on day one. Call me a skeptic." Now, this is something that was mentioned the other day, and I think is extremely valid. Where it said that Minecraft sort of derailed PSN again the other day, and is there more of a chance that the game is going to be more stable on Xbox Live because Xbox Live is more experienced at running this sort of thing and running in a stable way? And I was like, that's completely valid as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I mean the alpha was all right, but that's about as far as I can really say. I mean, Minecraft did kind of kill the network for a little bit, but everything else was running fine.
Yeah, and Don mentions that again. You see what happened to PSN when Minecraft came out on Thursday. So, what else have we got? Let me see. Paul Fillery. He's commenting on another conversation I was having about Majora's Mask. Rich Woodward said he's getting it on 360. Ryan Harmon, who did an amazing video on Caden Renser's YouTube comparing infamous Second Son's Seattle to the real place.
Oh, yeah. You've told me about this.
Fantastic. So Ryan said, pass. Not really into MMOs, interested in shooters, but a bit burnt out on them.
Oh, that's weird, because I don't like either of those two things.
Nothing about it has piqued my curiosity. So it's like,
Interesting.
So let me see what else we've got before I delve into some of the other mentions. Right. So elsewhere, opinions that I've seen from other people on podcasts, journalists, etc. Laura Rich from the Recycle Bin. Let me see. Drop me a text this very evening about it.
From the land of Wales.
The land of Wales. Let me see. She said, I'm actually really excited for it now. I trust Bungie because they always seem to genuinely care about the worlds they've created and the people who play in them. I hope it becomes as big as Halo. I hope I love and enjoy it as much as I've loved and enjoyed Halo. Hashtag hype. So yeah. Andy Hamilton of Midnight Resistance enjoyed it at first. Now appears to be passing. Gadget Girl Kylie, not into shooters, and it didn't click from the alpha. Recycle Bins Chris Span wasn't really that moved by it from the either alpha or the beta, but I get the feeling that he may well be picking it up on launch because a few other folks might be, because I know he asked a few weeks ago as to whether the people would be picking it up on
platforms.
So Scott from Bitsocket is passing, and he's leaning more towards Hyrule Warriors instead.
Why?
Well, no.
That baffles me. It's just goddamn Dynasty Warriors. I really get annoyed by that.
Shush your dirty mouth.
Press square.
Shush your ginger dirty mouth.
Then press square a bit more.
No, shut up.
And go over there and press square. Then come back here. Press square.
We'll have words off air. You know
problems.
Nothing, Jon Snow.
I know everything.
Speaking of Johns, John Denton and Chet Roivas of Chet and John's Infinite Playlist, the greatest review site on the net.
Indeed.
Adored it. Likewise, ex-Joypod host David Turners, who'd been playing with those two, has really enjoyed it. And I know that, there's a piece where somebody was saying about the massive tank that drops being a bit of a bullet sponge.
True.
And I'm sure it was David Turners when he was on Chet and John's was saying that.
I think you're right. I agree. I think you're right.
He, somebody in his party had a sniper rifle and realised that if they shot it in a certain place, not just the feet, but if they shot it in a certain place from the sniper rifle, it was taking off like massive chunks of this thing's health. So it seems that these things, the big tanks and stuff might not be the bullet sponges we think, but are these little conundrums that we have to figure out. So
I didn't figure it out when I encountered one.
Tamoor Hussain, formerly of CVG, and now what is off of YouTube, is excited and is off to a midnight launch. And love Tamoor. Tamoor's the nicest man in gaming. He's awesome. And Matt Lees has sort of enjoyed it rather a lot, judging from his Daft Souls podcast. So yeah. And I'm quite tempted to go down to the midnight launch anyway, because the Bungie midnight launches were always ace. And I've got memories of, because the Bungie games used to launch between sort of the end of September and November, and I'd come home from work and I'd fall asleep on the couch and I'd set sort of an alarm for like 11:30 or something, and I'd sort of wake up and have like a little bit of a cup of coffee, so I've got like crackle in my veins, but I'm still sort of pretty sleepy. Walk out of the house, coat zipped up, it feeling sort of quite cold, uncommonly cold, because I'm not normally out that late at night, and I live in the city, so I'll turn a few streets, and then you just see a light in a shop that wouldn't have a light on at that late at night, and the part of your tummy goes like and I remember, I think it was the Reach launch in particular. I went down to game, and they got some people cosplaying as Spartans, and the armor was amazing. And they actually did a thing whereby you could pay £2 and have your picture taken with one of the Spartans, and the photo was printed out immediately on sort of a photo printer, and the money went straight to a children's charity.
That's great.
Which was awesome.
Great?
It just made like a great little event of the night, and it's always fun to talk to people and see how excited they are. And I mean, when I went to pick up Dark Souls 2 at midnight, it was the Titanfall launch at the same time, and whilst I was some way back in the queue, and I was pretty much the only person that was picking up Dark Souls 2 on the night, I looked to the front of the queue, and there was a guy that had got a Titanfall bundle of console and game, and he just looked like he was standing in front of Santa asking if he could open his presents yet. It was fantastic, sort of even belying his age. It was just this degree of, and they were going, right, well, here's your receipt, and do you want this? And he was like, yes, run home.
But of course, yeah. I mean, we won't be. I mean, I won't be going to a midnight launch for Destiny, because I ordered mine from Tesco.
Well, yeah. So Tesco, the game was listed at £45,
which is a good price regardless.
I got a £5 off code from
so
that.
Did I.
Hurrah! And they were listing it with a free headset, which was worth £35 to £70.
Which is like, I don't know how the maths works on that.
No.
Why?
And there was a T-shirt included on mine, but I got an email the other day to say those have run out, so they're crediting me a £5 back.
Why? What?
Yeah. So game have got exclusive armor and guns, and there's also the thing that I think this is. I don't know if this is just exclusive to game or everywhere, but if you pre-order Destiny and you pre-order Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, you actually get Call of Duty armors for Destiny.
That's weird.
Which is kind of cool. So we've got 3 editions as well. We've got the standard edition, which is just the game, the collector's edition, which includes an art book and a couple of the DLC missions, I believe, and then the Ghost edition, which includes Twinkling Torkly Dinklage. I can't even say it.
Twinkly Torkly Dinklage.
That's it. Yeah. But those were, I'm sure they were up for something like $150 in America.
Yeah.
And we were doing the maths and going like, oh, that's all right. It's not bad. But
then £100.
That becomes pounds over here, and I'm not paying 150 quid.
They just take off the dollar sign and put on a pound sign and call that a conversion. Yeah. That's good.
Not paying 150 quid for a Peter Dinklage Rubik's Cube that talks to me. In that case,
the way you said it there, yes, I'd pay that for a Peter Dinklage Rubik's Cube that talks to me.
If I had that kind of money to spend on a game, I'd go for that. that Titanfall limited edition with a massive art book and the huge mech.
The one with big
that
dudes.
lights up. Yeah. So yeah, and we've covered earlier on that there's preload digital versions.
I think they're starting to go up in the next day or two, aren't they?
Yeah, with free upgrades for PS3 to PS4 and 360 to Xbox One. And I really like the fact that they can be preloaded, so that at midnight you can start playing. You don't start downloading at midnight.
Which may stop that, like you say, the launch day explosion of error.
Yeah. So yeah, that brings us to what your final thoughts on Destiny as we're on the cusp of launch and everything that's come before.
Well, final thoughts. I mean, this is the game I didn't expect to want to love. Like, this is the game I didn't expect. It came out, like, when it was revealed, it's like, oh, it's a shooter in space, and I was quite glib about it, I'll admit. I apologise to everyone that I was glib to. Because then the alpha happened, and, it's like, oh, wait, this is good. Oh, I get it. And it's that nice sort of, it's hit that nice point between Halo and Borderlands where I didn't really get on with Halo, and Borderlands kind of bores me after a time. But it's hit that nice point, and I can really see myself investing in it. And I think they've done, for all our concerns about the slowness and the almost non-existence of the advertising campaign early on, I think the last month has been a masterclass.
Well, since June, I'd say.
Yeah, here's a beta code, and here's 2 more for your friends. Like, that's masterful.
Yeah, they've been building things at the points where it counts, I guess.
Yeah, they've been building the hype. It's real hype as well. It's not like, oh, this game's coming out, isn't it going to be good? They've actually play some. What do you think? And they've given it to you and said, do you think it's good? Yeah, I do.
For all the criticisms that can kick in from Activision, I get the feeling that there's this there's a long plan for the Destiny games, and they see this is the most important step.
Yeah, this could be their EA circa 2009.
Yeah, it's a big one, but I get the impression that the sort of edict for Bungie was always, when it's done, it's done.
Yeah.
And they can then spin things off from here. But with Call of Duty selling less and less copies every year, I can see why they want to make this big splash and try to. I don't know. It doesn't feel like they're trying to force people into getting it. It just seems like, well, try it then. See if you like it.
Yeah.
Do you think it's fun? Cool. Here's loads of stuff you can do. Oh, if you're getting a PS3 one, you can get it for PS4, and if you're downloading it, you get the extra jump, and it just seems like they've ticked all the boxes from that. And
yeah,
for me, the biggest surprise was having a game that's this big, and I sat in front of it in the beta and really didn't know what to expect. And I'm still feeling that a little bit. I feel like they've held lots and lots back.
I reckon there's surprises. I think there's shit we don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait. Twitter's gonna explode.
So yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to be recording another episode after Tuesday with our thoughts on the game itself and how it's sat, and our own adventures from there. So what I'll say is that if you are listening to this, drop us an email at twinhumanitiespodcast@gmail.com. That's twinhumanitiespodcast@gmail.com.
Make sure you spell humanities right, because I always do that wrong, and that's why the podcast feed doesn't work.
So we're at Twin Humanities on Twitter. And obviously there's the YouTube comments as well. We're going to be going through all of those, and it's going to be nice to have your stories or your thoughts going in, or what you felt from the beta. So to send us that sort of stuff. We'll be having a chat again on Tuesday, Wednesday time, and we'll try and smash all of that into the next one and have your thoughts and our thoughts, and hopefully a little bit of little bit back and forth.
Because we are all in this one together.
Yeah,
we're all going in fresh. No one's getting it early. We're all going in at the same time, and it's gonna be. I can't wait.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, please do that. And if you're a Dark Souls fan, check us out at twinhumanities.com, where we've got Lots of Dark Souls gubbins as well.
And we also have another show called Oh the Humanities, where we talk about games that, aren't Dark Souls.
But we won't confuse you with that just for.
Not just yet.
So,
But yeah, we're getting a network going. I like it.
Yeah.
Wow. Is this what it feels like to be a media mogul?
I don't even go there. We're doing this because we love talking about games and
we want to.
Yeah.
As long as it's fun, we're going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
But thank you everybody for listening.
Yeah, I'm CJ.
Destiny.
I'm CJ.
I was Paddy. I'm still Paddy.
Hope you are looking forward to the game as much as we are, and hope you enjoy it on Tuesday. Please do drop us down your thoughts and send them to us through one portal or another, and we'll get back together in a few days' time and sort of see what we all think.
Magic. Until next time, see you, Space Cowboys.
Oh, dear God. Bye.
Bye.